We're live. Good morning, guys. It's Saturday morning, and I'm just going live. So this is a live video, but it will be out there. I guess you'll know that because you'll be watching it after the live video. But Saturday morning here, I don't even know what today's date is. It's January 19th, 2019. So I'm going to start playing here shortly, but I just wanted to go live this morning because I had a decision to make this morning. You know, I got up and we did our normal routine. We eat breakfast and feed the dogs, our cats. We have some feral cats outside that we take care of, so we fed them as well. And that's just kind of what we do in the mornings. Normally during the week, I'm in the gym at like 4:30 in the morning, so that's when I lift weights. But on Saturdays, I don't lift weights. So, you know, Saturday's kind of like a relaxed day. Got up, again, fed all the animals, ate breakfast. I did about 20 minutes of yoga and some stretching. And I had a decision to make. I'm like, well, I can sit down and watch TV, just kind of chill out, check my emails and do some work on the web, whatever. Or I can come upstairs in my studio and practice. And to be honest with you guys, I normally don't practice much on Saturdays. Normally, there's like sometimes on Saturdays, and I hate to admit this, I won't even touch my guitar. So I'm like, why don't I come upstairs and go through a practice routine with you guys? So that's what I'm gonna do. And I'm talking for a little bit to kind of give people, time to join the live session here. Again, this video will be out. If you're watching this right now live, I will be posting this video so you'll be able to watch it, at any time. Take a sip of coffee here. I haven't had my coffee yet. A quick sales pitch, guys. If you guys have not bought my Keep It Metal mug, Keep It Metal, go to my shop, jasonstallworthshop.com, or just go to jasonstallworth.com and click on the shop button. It'll take you there. So go there and you can actually order this. I think it's like 15 bucks, 16 bucks, something like that. And shipping's pretty cheap, but you can definitely get one of these. They're pretty solid, pretty quality mugs, and the logo is on both sides. So that's another way you can support me. I've got some other merch on there as well. So that's just another way you guys can support me as well as listening to my albums on Spotify, iTunes, and all that good stuff. So anyway, enough with the sales pitch. Let me press the button to get sound. I've got everything going through my studio here. So what I want to do is just go through a practice routine with you guys. And I have not played yet this morning, so like I said, I just got in the studio. I don't even know what I'm going to play yet, and this is kind of the thing. I mean, you want to have some sort of plan, but honestly, I really don't. When I practice, I just come into the studio and pick up the guitar and start playing. There are certain like little foundational type techniques that I go through first, so I'm going to start with those. The first thing I normally do, and since it's live, I'm not going to have tablature up here, but the first thing I do is I go through some just basic alternate picking, not skills, but just alternate picking exercises. So this is one of the basic things I do. So very, very basic. There's nothing exciting going on there. But what I'll do is I'll alternate pick that, and I'll call out the frets real quick. So I'm just on the E string, on that last string. You see 7 strings here because it's a 7-string guitar. I love my 7-string, man. It's an awesome guitar. But I'm on the last E string. Kind of the same. Anyway, so I'm on that last string, and my root note is going to be my 5th fret. And then what I'm doing here, the purpose for this specific exercise is to get used to using all 4 fingers. And I think that's a good way to start out, because when you're playing lead, a lot of times you want to just hang on those fingers that are your strongest, which is usually your 1st finger and your 3rd finger. So sometimes that 2nd finger gets left out, you'll play that, but the pinky finger usually always gets left out. So this exercise is just kind of connecting your hand to your brain, saying, hey, we've got 4 of these fingers here, let's use them all. And that's why I do that. So again, we're kind of going back and forth, starting on that 5th fret, and we're just kind of bouncing around back and forth between the 8th and 7th fret. So it's 8, 5, 7, 5. and you're alternate picking each note. You're not doing downstrokes, you're alternate picking, so back and forth. So I do that 4 times. So we're using our first, third, and our pinky finger. Now, what I'm doing next is I'm going to eliminate that third finger and use my second finger in place instead. So we're going to move things up a little bit, and our frets instead of 5, 7, and 8, we're going to be going on 7, 8, and 10. So our root note's going to be that 7th fret there on the E string. And now I'm going to bounce back and forth between 10th and 8th fret. So we're going to go 10, 7, 8, 7. Again, nothing overly exciting here. We're just connecting that mental, whatever you want to call it, we're making that connection to say we're just wanting to use all 4 fingers here. So we're kind of, and it's kind of a stretch, a little bit of a stretch here because we're up, we're not playing lead down here. Man, I'm rusty. And I usually don't start with that kind of stuff until I'm well warmed up. I am not warmed up at all. Guitar's like working out. You warm up a little bit before you kind of dive into that stuff. So my point though was when you're playing down here, your frets are closer together, so it's a little bit easier to hit those notes. Where you're playing up here, your fingers are spread out. Right, so it gives you a little bit more, stretch. You're kind of gaining that flexibility. So far we've got this. Now the next piece I add to that is we're just moving things up, 1 more fret here. So our frets we're playing on are going to be 8, 10, and 12. And then we're back to using our first finger, third finger, and pinky finger, but between that third and pinky finger, there's going to be a fret. So it's going to be a little bit more of a stretch for you. And now you're not only getting used to using all 4 fingers on the fretboard, you're also getting used to kind of stretching those out a little bit. So we're going to be starting on, or I should say our root note here is going to be our 8th fret. And then we're going to bounce back and forth between 8 and 10. So it's going to be 12, 8, 12 and 10. 12, 8, did I get there? Yeah, sorry, 12th fret, 8th fret, 12, 8, 10, 8. So 12, 8, 10, 8. And we're going to play that 4 times. So the whole pattern, and it's about to get a little bit cooler in a second, so hang in there with me. I know this part, guys, I know this is kind of boring, but this is just part of warming up, and I'm explaining things here, so it normally doesn't take this long to play it. But this is the pattern. This is all the notes you're going to play. And then things are going to get a little bit more exciting after that, because I'm going to show you something different. That's your pattern, and sometimes I'll go back to this, and I'll start over again. So I warm up with that. Now let's make things just a little bit more exciting. Now, real quick, if you're a fast guitarist already, you can speed things up. So, don't worry about going fast, but if you're already kind of at that level to where you're used to playing fast, it's just speed picking back and forth. That's all we're doing. Now, what I want you to do is take that exact same pattern, because we've just practiced a lot of things in one there, right? We got used to using all 4 fingers. We've got some stretching in there going on, which I did yoga, now I did like finger yoga today because we stretched out a little bit. And then you're speed picking. So now I want you to take that same pattern, but you're not going to be picking this time. I want you to use hammer-ons, and this exercise is geared more towards strength and dexterity in your fingers to really help you last longer in playing. So here it is. Same pattern. No picking. Now I'll kind of like bar the other strings, you know, down here with my palm so I don't hit, you know. Sometimes I'll pick that first note and just kind of hold my palm down here so I don't get other string noise. So again, we're on that fifth fret, the E string, and that's kind of our root fret or root note. And then we're bouncing back and forth between 8 and 7. And then next, our root note is our 7th fret, bouncing back and forth between frets 10 and 8. And then we're bouncing back and forth, or sorry, our root note is 8, bouncing back and forth between 12 and 10. And again, excuse me, and again, you can get faster at that if you want. Like I said, if you're just warming up, just get the movement down. You're just starting to move here, right? It's just like exercise. So do that. Now you're warmed up. Now what I want you guys to do is, and again, I know this is kind of mundane and kind of boring, but again, we're getting warmed up here. So I kind of want you guys to be more excited about this. I can't see how excited you are right now. So hopefully you're excited. Anyway, so I want you to basically take that and just play like 2 rounds of that. So play like 2 rounds of this. You know, 4 times each, and then turn around and play 2 rounds of this with just the hammer-ons. Then I want you to do that exact same pattern on the next string over, the B string. Now, I miss some notes sometimes. Man, I need some coffee. Your fingers do get tired after a while. So the point is not really to burn yourself out on these little warm-up exercises. It's just to get those fingers moving. So just do like a couple rounds of each pattern, right? Kind of like doing 2 sets of whatever at the gym. So let me take a sip of this, guys. Man, I'm drinking that True Cult coffee. I don't know if you guys are friends with me on Instagram, but if you go to my Instagram, it's just under Jason Stallworth. I keep everything simple, you know, just me. But if you go to my Instagram page, you'll see, if you scroll down a little bit, you'll see I made it almost looks like a commercial I made for True Cult Coffee. They're like a metal meets coffee type business, and I'm not even really promoting them because they don't pay me, but it's pretty good stuff. That's what I'm drinking right now. But anyway, if you're on my Instagram, you'll see a video I made, and I think the video is pretty cool. So check that out if you get a chance. All right, so that's kind of my basic run through. So we've got our hammer-ons, we've got our alternate picking, and those 2 techniques alone are the culprit. Sorry, I got a burp, man. No. Oh, didn't need it. Remember that in middle school or whatever? Anyway, so the purpose of that is just to get those metal shred techniques down, right? So your hammer-ons, your speed picking, which is essentially alternate picking. That's really what we're working on here, just getting warmed up. Now, let's move on to some cooler stuff here. The next thing I normally do, guys, is I normally start with like sweep picking, because that's an area I know I need to work on a little bit more. So what I'll do is I'll just start out, and again, I know I named this video like this is like, you know, shred guitar techniques. I can't remember what I call it, Saturday morning shred tips or whatever. We're not really going to be shredding. I'm not here to like show out and say, oh, look how good Jason is or whatever. This is not one of those kind of videos. You know, my videos are all about helping you guys, you know. You see these videos all the time, people just doing cool stuff on guitar. It's great, but when they try to teach you how to get to that level, it's a little jumbled. It's like, okay, all right, so you play well. What now? You know what I mean? So my goal on my channel is really to show you guys some techniques and give you guys some tips, some like real world scenario tips to help you get better, not to see how well I can play or whatever. I mean, it's cool. You guys will hear how well I play in my albums, you know, when I release the stuff. So, and thank you guys for those who have supported me in that. All right, enough of me talking. Let's do some real simple sweep picking exercises. I'm gonna call these triads because they're just 3 notes. They really just get you used to the technique, and especially if you're like me and if you struggle with sweep picking and playing sweep arpeggios, I have to start out like really slow. And this is probably one of the best advice I can give you, is to start out slow with your sweep arpeggios and just make sure you're accurately hitting every note, and you know, just play those notes and kind of feel that before you start picking up speed. All right, so one little trick for sweep arpeggios, I put my front pickup, my neck pickup on, because it's just, and I do this with speed picking too, guys. So here's speed picking. I'm all over the place right now, but just bear with me. So here's speed picking with the bridge pickup. All right, and I know I'm just playing out here. You don't have a direct signal, so you probably can't hear it as good. Here's the speed picking. Here's the difference, and hopefully you can tell with the neck pickup. To me, there's a big difference, and it's the same with sweep picking. Here's a little sweep arpeggio with the bridge pickup, neck pickup. So a lot of times when I'm playing like really fast speed picking or sweep arpeggios, I will use that neck pickup because it just gives you a little more punch in your notes, and it gives you a little bit more clarity in your notes, which is really what we're after. So basic, hopefully you guys can see. I can't, like, I don't have my phone turned around where I can see myself. I tried to set it up so where you guys can see. But I'm gonna be playing notes, the G, B, and E string here, and I'm gonna be playing notes frets 12, 13, and 12. So 12, 13, 12. And I'll just start it just with that, okay? So go back and then go back up. And you want to, I'm not going to get like into sweep picking here, but you just want to get used to, you're not picking each note. Not doing that. You're just letting that pick kind of glide. It's a very like fluid and very elegant motion. But just practice going down 1 and then back up. Now what I do next is I add that little hammer on, and it's a very, very typical pattern here. I add that hammer on the 15th fret on that last string. So it's 12, 13, 12, and then from 12 to 15 back to 12. So that hammer on's like, just like that. So when you do your sweep pattern, so just practice that. 12, 13, 12, you know, 12 on the G string, then 13 on the B string, then 12 on your E, and on that E you hammer on, you know, 12, 15, 12. And now after that hammer on, you're just going to go back the other way. And that's it. So I will take that same pattern, and let's play it slow one more time. Just make sure your motion is fluid, because you don't want it to sound like, again, like you're picking, and this is very, very important with sweep picking. You don't want to be picking those notes, and I know I'm playing it slow, so it sounds like that, but you want it to be a very fluid. In other words, that right hand, that pick hand, should just be kind of gliding, right? You're not picking, it's just a glide, up and down. So now I'll just take that same exact pattern we just played and I'll move it up 2 frets. So we were playing 12, 13, 12, and then that hammer on 12, 15, 12. Now we're going to be playing 14 G string, fret 15 B string, and then 14 E string. Just like that. And then our hammer one's going to be 14, 17, 14. And that's it. So it's the exact same pattern. And guys, you can actually take that pattern and play it just about anywhere on the fretboard. You know, play that, and I encourage you actually to do that. You know, I'm just giving you some tips here and things that I do, but kind of think outside of that too. It's like, okay, Jason showed me where to play this at. Well, let me play it somewhere else on the fretboard, you know, and see how that sounds. And that's, you know, that's what I really encourage you guys to do is take the things I'm giving you. I know I sound like a broken record because I say this in like every video, but take what I'm giving you and expand on that. So in the next sweep arpeggio, and I know I've covered these in prior lessons, guys, but I kind of, you know, this video is really a practice video. This is just a very random, hey, I came up here just, you know, upstairs to practice. I had a choice. I had a choice to sit downstairs and watch TV, you know, watch whatever cooking show while I surf the net, or come up here and practice. And you know, I chose to come up here and practice instead. So I want you guys to do the same. Although you might be on your couch watching this video, you really should have your guitar in your hand. But again, the video's out there for you guys, so you can, you know, pause it and whatever. All right, so the next sweep arpeggio, and these are very typical patterns, guys. I'm not showing anything special. I'm just showing you some things I practice. This next pattern is going to be, now instead of starting out on the 14th fret, we're going to change things up a little bit. We're going to start out on the 16th fret. So it's going to be 16, 17, then 15, like this. A little bit different pattern. Our hammer on is going to be from 15 to 19. Just one time. So, and then back up. So if you practice those patterns, we'll go through real slow here. If you practice those patterns, just again, focus on that fluid right hand, that pick hand motion, and that will help you get better at sweep picking. And then you can start adding more notes, and I'll cover that in a second too. But that last pattern we just learned, I want you to take that same pattern, but I want you to start that pattern on the 11th fret, right? So you're going to go 11, 12, 10. And then your hammer on is going to be from 10 to 14. So instead of playing this, you're going to play this. And that kind of ends, if you play all that together, and I'll show you what it sounds like, that kind of gives you a very, very melodic pattern, which is really killer sounding in my opinion. Almost brings you like into like a Lord of the Rings scene or something like that, or a Hobbit scene or whatever. I don't know. It's kind of mystical, like mystical stuff. So anyway, so that's kind of my sweep arpeggio patterns. And then you want to start adding more notes, and I'll add, and I won't get into depth here because I'm going to show you guys some more stuff too. If you want to play the whole pattern like this, you would typically start really on your A string. And that's something that's like the full arpeggio. And again, it's nothing really new, nothing special. It's just something you can practice. I'll call out the frets real quick on that. I think I'm on the A string, and I'm starting out on the 10th fret. And then that same string, I'm going to go up with my pinky finger to the 15th fret. Now, you can start out on that 15th fret if you want. But I know a lot of people will teach you to start with that root note, that A note there, or not the A, but the 10th fret there on the A string. But to make things simple, if you want to start on that 15th fret, that's fine. So A string 15, D string 14, and then the pattern that we learned before, the 12, 13, 12, hammer on 12, 15. So here we go. Now, I find it kind of easier starting with that 10th fret note. I mean, you might find it a little more difficult at first, but once you get used to playing the sequence there, you might want to throw that in. So I'll leave that up to you. And again, just move that same pattern up 2 frets. See, I get rusty on this sometimes. This is why I practice this pattern. Before I would go like live on stage or start recording or whatever, I will play these just real simple patterns just to get used to the technique. I'll play them, you know, several times before I go out in public, which I'm kind of in public now with you guys, but, you know. Anyway, and then if you want to move it up one more to hit that last one, you would go. So that's starting on the 14th fret, 14 on the A string, same string, 19th fret, so it's like a. Then the next string is going to be the 17th fret. Then you're going to play the pattern we learned earlier. So that's it. That's kind of what I go through with sweep arpeggios. Now, I want to show you another sweep picking pattern here. And this is something I think sounds really cool, but it's kind of tricky because you're rolling that finger, and it's going to sound like this. So these are kind of simple, and it's kind of jumbled because your fingers are like right there, all the notes are right there together. But what we're getting used to here is not just the sweep picking technique, we're only going one way here, but the rolling of the fingers on those strings. So, because if you're not careful, it can sound jumbled if you try to play it all at once. So we're getting used to rolling those fingers off the string because you're starting out on the A string 12th fret. Then the next 2 strings you're playing the 14th fret. But if you don't roll them off, it's going to sound like this. That's not what we want. What we want is not. So 12, starting on the A string, and I'll call the frets, you know, down. So 12, 14, 14, and then on that B string, I'm going back to the 12th fret and then playing on the 13th. And again, you don't want to pick those notes like I just did. You want to, my screensaver comes up. You want to have that fluid sweep motion. Now I picked that last note from 12 to 13 on the B string. Another thing that helps too when you're sweep picking, guys, and I'm spending a lot of time on sweep picking because it's one of those things that I have to practice a lot. And if I don't practice, like I don't think I've played sweep picking patterns for like 2 days now. But if I don't play them on a regular basis, I do get rusty very fast. So I palm mute some of the notes as I'm sweep picking down, because that helps eliminate some of that string noise along with rolling your finger off of each string. Right, so. Oops. So this is more like a melodic pattern here. And then where I'm going after that, I'll show you 2 more patterns. Where I'm going after that is I'm starting on, we're all starting on the A string here, but on the 15th fret. And then the next 2 strings, right, the D and G, I'm going to be playing the 17th fret. And then the B string, we're going to go 15 to 17. So it'll sound like this. Now, similar pattern, we're just going to move everything up 2 more frets, and we're going to play the same pattern we played, a pattern ago, but we're just going to play it a different place on the fretboard. And we're going to start out A string again on the 17th fret, then our 2 strings we're hitting together are going to be 19th fret, and then we're going to go with the B string 17 to 18. A very, very cool sweep picking pattern. It's simple. The notes are simple. There's not a lot of stretching, of the fingers involved, but it's just, a lot of times I'm going to play what sounds melodic and what sounds cool over what's complicated to play. And I remember Marty Friedman talking about this a long time ago. I think I heard Chris Broderick, I can't remember who, but I remember somebody famous was saying, play what's comfortable to you. I mean, yeah, you can stretch your boundaries and all that good stuff, that's great, but, everybody has their own style of playing, so play what feels comfortable to you. So let's go through this pattern one more time. I know this is a long video, man. Sometimes when I mess up or hit a note, I try to cover it up by just going into something else. That's a tactic you can use as well. And I use that a lot, man. Again, this is a live video, so I'm just bringing up random stuff as I think about it. But you guys heard me, I kind of messed up and hit a wrong note, or missed a note and whatever. And I'll do that, especially if you're playing live, instead of stopping, it's like, oh crap, man, I messed up. You kind of play it off like, no, that dude meant to do that, and you just kind of go into something else. And this is the beauty of practicing, because this will allow you to kind of ad-lib on the spot when you need to, because we're playing all these patterns. Like, okay, well, I learned this other pattern, so I can just go from here to here, and it won't sound like I messed up. Hopefully that makes sense. Now, with this pattern, I want you guys to try different things. So we played this. You can stop. That sounds melodic, sounds cool, but you can do this instead. So what I did was just added, and I'm not going to call it the frets there, but I want you guys to play around with that. I want you guys to, when you learn that pattern, what if I throw in another note, back on the string I just hit, or on the same string, or whatever. I want you guys to expand on that pattern and just come up with some different cool stuff. And again, you saw I played it up here. I didn't show you guys this. You can take these 2 little patterns and just play them all over the fretboard. You see how cool that sounded? That can be like a rhythm to something. You just played a lead pattern, in a rhythm part of the fretboard. So you can do that, guys. I want you, and I encourage you to expand on that. This is so crucial to becoming just a better, not only guitarist, but better musician overall. It's so crucial that you learn things. Yeah, it's great. Even if you're learning somebody else's song, I encourage you to change things up a little bit, okay? So you learn Marty Friedman's, whatever, Tornado Souls, which is a very complicated solo. But, always ask yourself the questions like, what if I did this instead? And then you become the creator of the guitar solo instead of just playing what somebody showed you or playing somebody else's music. I really want to encourage you guys to branch out and, make it your own. Put your own touch to it, put your own style to it. I used to play in a church band many, many years ago, and we would play songs, from a CD. And fortunately, whoever I was playing with, the person leading, would always give me the freedom to play it my own way, because it's like, okay, well, I hear how they play it, but I don't really like how they play it. I can do it better, or at least better to me. you know, and I can play a better guitar solo, or I can add these fills and riffs in there that add so much more to the song. So, you know, and I was fortunate back in those days to have that freedom. So I encourage you guys to do the same when you learn things. When you learn things, question what you learn. Not if it's right or wrong what you learn. You know, there's really no wrong way unless you just hit like a blatant wrong note and it just sounds like crap. Okay, well that's different. But there's really no wrong way. You know, play these patterns. Ask yourself, what if I played that pattern up here? Question that. Well, okay, what does that sound like? You know, what if I play in a different spot? What if I add this note to it? You know, what if I add a note that's that maybe doesn't quite fit the pattern, but might still sound cool? Try it out. Just play it. Try it out. So I encourage you guys to do that. So that is Saturday morning practice, guys. I want to say thank you so much for watching the video. I appreciate you guys joining in. Again, if you're watching this live right now, I'm about to upload this to YouTube, so it'll be out there for the world to see, you guys see. Please share this video with a friend or fellow guitar player. That will help my channel out tremendously. I really appreciate all of you guys who watch and who comment. You know, seriously, man, I love you guys. You guys are like brothers and sisters. We're family here. I really appreciate you guys. And until the next video, as always, keep it metal. Alright, so now I gotta figure out how to turn this thing off. Hold on.